I heard it's somebody's birthday today.
They say it's your birthday?
Simple as that.
It's my birthday too, y'all. I'm glad it's your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Appreciate it. And shout out to the Super Saiyan NoDQ as well.
If
We're
you
going
know,
to a
you
party
know.
party. We're going to a party. Yes, we're going to a party.
8:00. I'm out of here.
Yes, I'm lonely. Wanna die.
What is good, everybody? We are live with another edition of the NoDQ review. This is number 374. I am your moderator, Gino. I'm joined by this week's panel of our esteemed panelists. Of course, Aaron is with us as always. We have one of the 3 rotating moderators here. We got all of us today. That doesn't happen very often. Cleaver is here. We've got the Simple Man and his birthday. Noah Foster is here. We have Oofman joining us. Always a pleasure. And, of course, our ORM. So, Virtue, how you doing today?
Good. I'm here. Don't have to moderate at 8:00. If we get hijacked by super chatting, I can say bye-bye. See everybody next week. But it's good to be. I'm glad when you're moderator and I can relax a little bit more.
Well, we love that. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Oofman, how you doing, man?
Doing great, guys. Excited to talk about some professional lucha libre with all y'all. So let's do this, baby.
Let's do it indeed. And Cleaver, how you doing today, man?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Can we hear me? Okay. I don't know what just happened with my iPad. I lost all audio with Bluetooth and with plugins. So I have no idea. So I'm good, man. It was 40 degrees here today, 50 degrees here today. It's great. My driveway looks wonderful. I'm happy, you know? So some good topics. Let's get into it.
Well, we love that. And those images you've been posting of the frozen lake have been lighting up my feed, and we very much appreciate that. And so, yeah, we will throw it over now to the birthday boy. Hopefully you're having a great birthday, Noah. How are you doing?
Doing well, Gino. Good to see y'all once again. NoDQ Galaxy and fans. It's been a nice, simple birthday. You work, you come home, you drink Mountain Dew, then you come home and beyond the review, talking about some professional wrestling. So, as always, you know what I'm about. I'm ready to get right into it. But it's been a wonderful day, and thank you, everybody, for the kind words and wishes.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Aaron is always with us. Aaron, how's your day? Another horror movie shirt. You've got everybody kind of on there this evening.
That's right. Representing all the classic characters. It's great to have everybody on for the NoDQ review. Things are heating up, not just in the northeastern United States, but also in the world of wrestling. We got Elimination Chamber coming up. We have WrestleMania coming up. We already have a couple of super chats. And yes, we are live, pal. Cleaver had some technical difficulties. Hopefully that won't continue. But let's get to the super chats, and then we'll start with our first main topic. Remember, Virtue is done at 8:00.
Hey, Aaron, did you not stream this on X this week? Like, I normally repost that right away. I didn't see it.
There's a check mark next to X, so
Okay.
I don't know what that's all about. But anyways, City by the Bay sent in $5. Really shilling JCW. City by the Bay says, if you enjoy storyline and character development with a hint of Attitude Era vibe, JCW Lunacy is the place. P.S. Maven to JCW. You heard it here first. Now, show of hands, who is actively watching JCW right now?
I am.
Okay, Virtue is
I don't like. I just watch it because it's on Thursday at like 7, and on YouTube. So I play Switch, watch it, and it goes by pretty quick to like 90 minutes, and it's entertaining. You know, it's a lot of indie wrestlers, guys like Ken Anderson in there, James Storm. So you know, some oldies but goodies, and yeah, it's entertaining. Like, dude, there's zombies. There's killer clowns. I mean, come on, man. It's. I'm not an insane clown posse guy, but the wrestling stuff's kind of cool. So, yeah.
All right, there you go. There's an endorsement for JCW. It's definitely an alternative. It's something different. And I did enjoy what I've seen of it. And I'm hopeful that they'll be able to continue building up momentum. Now, before we get to the other super chat, it is Noah's birthday. So this week's Jeff Jarrett and Big G video ties into Noah's birthday. Let's hear or maybe listen to what they have to say.
Happy birthday tonight to you. Happy birthday, dear No Foster.
It's finest, folks. It's finest. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome, Noah. That is Big G and Jeff Jarrett with a little birthday jig for Noah Foster.
Couldn't get the Fargo strut in, but still, they were boot scoot boogie. Okay.
Tune in next week for the adventures of Big G and Jeff Jarrett. Send in your suggestions. Leave a comment on the YouTube page.
That should be a show.
To see next from Jeff Jarrett and Big G, and that'll be a little weekly segment here on the No DQ review. But we got another super chat, and then this will be the transition into our topic. So Jeremy Dorset sent in $2.63, says Seth Rollins is the man behind the mask. This is something we did touch on last week coming off the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins perhaps being the man that attacked Bron Breakker. But now there's a twist in everything that's going on. So I will go ahead and throw it over to Gino, because we thought Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker was going to happen at WrestleMania, but now there's another curveball. Take it away, Gino.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to address that. But first, unless you were following No DQ, you found this out when you were watching Monday Night Raw last night. They opened, and Michael Cole addresses that Braun Breaker has been injured. The injury happened, we know, from when he was flipping the table over. But they said, and with Paul Heyman, it was like he deadlifted more than any human should try and deadlift, and he hurt himself because he's frustrated with Adam Pearce, which I thought was a decently great way to spin that. But if you read the dirt sheets, or you follow up on NoDQ.com, which you should be, then how it actually happened. Now, that, like Aaron mentioned, that throws off some of the WrestleMania plans. And it kind of speaks to a larger issue that seems to, wrestling is a contact sport. People are going to get injured. It's part of the game. Unfortunately, it seems like these WWE stars are getting injured at literally the worst possible time. It's happened time and time again over the last calendar year. And we're not going to count Naomi in that, so let's not mention that. But all these other people are getting these pushes or having these opportunities, and then injury bug is biting them. So there's a thought that maybe Braun Breaker can heal enough for WrestleMania, but I wanted to get everybody's thoughts since it's officially announced that he's hurt. Now, we had WWE Unreal where, hey, they can try and fake an injury, but by all accounts, this seems to be a legit injury. I'm going to throw it right over to our ORM. Virtue, you saw this, you heard about this. What were your thoughts?
The vision is cursed. I mean, so Seth Rollins, they did the whole fake the injury thing, right? With Money in the Bank and all that stuff. And then Seth Rollins really gets hurt as the champion, by the way. And now Braun Breaker is hurt, and heading into WrestleMania season. So, it's bad luck. Injuries happen in wrestling. Back in the day when they weren't as always intense, there was injuries they could work through. These are sports injuries because wrestlers out there are going 110%. They're not working slow with slow rest holds because the crowds get bored. So when you amp everything up and Braun Breaker has a lot of energy, right? What happens? Sports hernia, popped a hernia, and that it sucks that it's WrestleMania season. I think he could probably be healed in time to be at the event and do something, but will they book him now? Probably not, because you got to heal pretty quickly. Like, you're not going to book him if you're not sure if he's ready to go, but he could be healed by then and come and disturb something or do a run-in or who knows. But knowing Triple H, if he might just hold him back and make him return after WrestleMania for the pop maybe start getting fans behind him. Who knows what they're doing with the vision, right? We're going to talk about it later with the masked guy. Like, who's heel, who's face. I mean, Rollins, we hated him. Now all of a sudden, he's the baby face because they beat him up when he got hurt. So it's just unfortunate, but Papa Shango must have cursed the vision after Seth Rollins worked everybody. That's all what else is there to say?
Thank you very much, Virtue. Yeah, it's a sketchy kind of situation, right? And we're going to address the Masked Man a little later, but the Masked Man kind of started all of this, when he attacked Braun Breaker to start the Rumble, and then he comes in and does what I thought was an amazing angle to start Monday Night Raw. Like I was like, that's how you start a show. Like, here we go, and then downhill. So I'm going to throw it over to Uthman. Uthman, we know you read NoDQ.com, so you weren't necessarily caught off guard by the announcement. But when it was first announced on Raw, what were your thoughts? What do you think now about the injury and the timing?
Yeah, I agree with what you say, Gino. When that cold opening on Raw last week, they need to do more of those on Raw and SmackDown, because it felt, yeah, I mean, taking away WWE Unreal and all that, but that felt legit. If that's how Braun Breaker needs to be pushed as this unstoppable force, that when he gets angry, you don't want to see him when he gets angry. So the pushing of the table, and also a shout out last week's Raw. My cousin and his tag team partner, the shot callers, were two security men during that segment. And when Bron Breakker walked away, he told the security guys to move out of the way. When he walked up the ramp, he looked at my cousin, Flash Carter, and he gave him a deadly look. So shout out to those guys. So yeah, my cousin was a security guard last week on Raw. But as far as Bron Breakker, it's horrible. Next week will be 2 months away from WrestleMania. Like Virtue said, the question is, if I believe this is serious, this is a legit injury. The question for Triple H and for everybody, if Breakker is, let's just say, healed by WrestleMania, the choice is going to be, do you insert him in WrestleMania for a match? Or like Virtue said, do you insert him for him to show up, like pop his head in, or, someone's walking backstage and there he is? What do you do with him? If he is not at 100% come like maybe a week or two before WrestleMania, do you pull him and wait till, I don't know, SummerSlam? A bunch of questions where it is unfortunate. This is the time that WWE should be on fire, because we're heading to the biggest show of the year. We just had the Super Bowl on Sunday. Well, this is their Super Bowl back in Vegas, 2 nights. You gotta produce good stuff. And when you have one guy go down, that was, I'm sure, part of their big WrestleMania plans. Now you got to think, what's plan B, C, D, E, F, and all that when it comes to Bron Breakker's push. So it might deal with what our second topic that we're going to talk about today, but completely bummer. I feel bad for Braun. I said put the strap on him months ago. Maybe now this is his time to just him literally to relax, cool off, then maybe jumpstart his push. Maybe SummerSlam this year. Who knows? But so healing prayers to Bron Breakker, and good luck WWE trying to just zig your way out of here. But it is totally unfortunate that it happens at this time. And then also fingers and toes are crossed that no one else gets injured or hurt or sidelined from now till April.
Absolutely. I mean, it was kind of playing into the whole CM Punk versus Finn Balor thing. He's like, I don't want, like, the main event set for WrestleMania. Like, he's basically saying, I don't want to risk CM Punk getting hurt. Which would just be another long string of injuries that the company is facing, with guys and gals facing their push. Now I'm going to throw it over to the birthday man himself, Noah Foster. Noah, obviously you knew about this, but they announced it. They're addressing it. They're not just doing what Aaron had suggested, where they're suspending him again or anything like that. Like, they could have maybe worked it into an angle, but they're pushing this as the injury. The timing's bad. The idea was maybe he's going to face Seth Rollins if Seth is healthy at Mania, but it kind of almost seemed like it was directionless. Like, what are your thoughts on Bron Breakker, the timing of the injury? I know you've been outspoken about injury timing. Take it away.
As someone who literally had a hernia at a young age, I can definitely relate. It's actually common in bodybuilders. I've heard it could take up to 6 weeks minimum just to get back to normal because the first 2 weeks you're in light recovery and then you're trying to get back to full motion sessions and heavy lifting, maybe after a month and a half, 2 months. And we're hearing 6 months possibly. And with the intensity behind Braun Breaker, it absolutely sucks. Again, with everything that's happened to the division, with Seth freaking Rollins first getting injured, it really fast forwarded what I think was the road to Bron Breakker getting the gold. And I think that's the reason why he didn't beat CM Punk on the Netflix era of Raw anniversary. Because honestly, I was lobbying for Bron Breakker to seize the title. But again, you have to course correct on the GPS and still reach the destination. I do think Bron Breakker is still bound to be a champion. But unfortunately, circumstances aside, health and well-being has to come first. I really wish him the best in whatever this surgery involves because it does sound legit. And whether or not it's 6 months, 6 weeks, 3 months, it sounds like he's not going to be able to do anything full physical to his full capability by WrestleMania season. So what do you do now? Do you rely on Logan Paul here to maybe carry what the Vision's outward push was to be at WrestleMania? Do you try and tease that Braun Breaker can somehow still be involved in WrestleMania? Regardless, it's one of the biggest marquee players, one of the biggest stories for the biggest player of the year currently out of the picture. And that's a lot for WWE to course correct even with 15 or 20 rioters. I feel bad, but I do think that he's going to still try and savage this some way. I just don't think it's going to involve Braun Breaker competing at WrestleMania at this point, if this truly is the case.
Absolutely. It's just they can pivot, and they've shown that they either willingly will pivot when they don't need to, or will pivot when it's called for, and all of the pivots in between, like a bunch of basketball players. Virtue had mentioned it, right? Like with the Vision's maybe cursed. They did the fake injury, and now they're all getting injured. It reminds me of Kevin Owens, like where he was trying to hurt people's necks. And then what happens? He has a legitimate neck injury, right? It's almost like, do you want to test the jinx gods with all of this stuff when it's such a physical thing? And he didn't even get injured in a match, like what happened to Penta. And then Dominic faked that and all those types of things. So thank you so much, Noah. We're going to throw it over to the Cleaver co-moderator. Always a pleasure to have him here when we can get all the band together. So, Colin, we know you saw this. They announced it. They're playing up that he got, like, the kayfabe story is that he got hurt working out. You know, can they do something with that? Is that just their best excuse possible? Like, what were your thoughts when you heard about the injury and now the timing of it?
Well, I mean, it sucks for the kid. You know, he was promising. He was going up against, originally Rollins to be the next big build, which could have been a WrestleMania match if you think about it. But then Rollins got hurt, and then he gets hurt. But I wonder if they had prior knowledge of him, not feeling great, or, his injury, whatever, because of what they did with him at the Rumble. He was supposed to enter, and then they had him taken out just like that without a precaution. And then the next night, just go out there, yank this table up, and we'll figure it out from there. I don't know. Again, it sucks. I've seen, like Noah said, up to 6 months, 12 weeks. Mania is 8 weeks away. So I don't know. I don't know where the kid lands this year, but that sucks for him because he should have had the belt from Punk, but the only reason Punk has the belt is because Seth got hurt. So none of this Roman and Punk thing would have probably happened this year if it wasn't for Seth getting hurt. And this is all right. We got to throw this in and go from there. The Vision, that's a scramble right now because you got you had it, and then Seth got hurt, and then you had it because Braun was there, and now Theory, he's trying. Logan Paul, it's Logan Paul, Bronson Reed. I mean, the only thing keeping that together for me right now is Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Accurate.
So I guess, I mean, again, best wishes and speedy recovery because the kid was at his peak, almost at his peak, so again, these things happen. You're, 0 to 100 like that, or 0 to 23 if you're, Bron Breakker. But, it's just one of those injuries that do happen, especially in the bigger, bulker, heavier lifting guys. So, does it suck for us as fans? Yeah, because now we're gonna have to circle around all this stuff again to, get back to where we were with it down the line. Could he make a WrestleMania comeback? Yeah, but it'd have to make sense because if Rollins not there, then there's really no sense for him to come back and interrupt. What are you going to do? Interrupt Roman and Punk? Because that's going to go over well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But again, it's just one of those unfortunate things in the business that happens. And hopefully, again, then, hopefully he pulls like a John Cena and just heals super fast. And he's back, and there's no questions about it. So, but when he comes back, I hope they keep that same momentum with him. I hope that they don't let this just, disrupt their thoughts with him or anything like that. Because again, it's not like he tweaked his knee landing wrong. It's something inside of, you know what I mean? It's a different type of injury. So, and happy birthday again, Noah. I didn't say it to you personally. I mean, I messaged you, but face to face.
And nothing but love, brother. Thank you.
No, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow because I always like to say happy belated birthday.
That's fine.
All right. Well, thank you, Cleaver. And like you said, like the vision, they have numerous pieces, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that WWE has then decided to take Bronson Reed's victory over Roman Reigns and have him come out during a commercial break and lose to Aaron's surprise due to a 10 count out. Like, they're not strengthening the rest of the group until it's like, oh crap, we're losing our top two guys in the group now. We should probably strengthen the other guys in the group. And so it feels like they're not having, I mean, you can't really predict an injury, whether they know about it or not, with this hernia thing that apparently he had been struggling with prior to it becoming full blown. Like these guys should all be looking strong just in case, right? Like, I mean, obviously you can't have everybody looking strong. Probably Austin Theory is going to be taking those pins when they need to, but like, this is your top-notch storyline that you've had coming out of WrestleMania. A lot of people have been kind of sick of seeing them in the main event parts of Raw and things like that. I haven't been. I think that the vision is still a compelling story, even given all the injuries. But it's just like, it almost highlights that they're not, and we've talked about it on numerous reviews, they're not building the other stars up the way that you could rely on them. And then they don't even have Obafemi on last night. Like, that would have been a perfect opportunity to showcase what he could do, even in a squash match. So, Aaron, I'm going to throw it over to you now, in the super chats. Obviously, you saw this before you posted it and do all your NoDQ stuff, which we love to read. But what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts now? Is this just like, should they just go in a different direction, or can they plan for this?
It's tough to say what the right move is, but I think it's terrible timing regardless of when it happens. But certainly around the time of WrestleMania, it's the worst case scenario for somebody like Bron Breakker, who is having the biggest run of his career. As Virtue said, it's cursed. The vision is cursed. They can still have Seth Rollins be the attacker. And my guess is that will be the reveal. Seth Rollins is the one that's doing this, although he keeps doing the stomp, which makes it obvious that it's him, or at least that's what we're led to believe. I would like a shocker at this point. In case of emergency, break glass. I know some people don't like this idea, but I think it should be Adam Pearce. I think Adam Pearce should wrestle and have a run against the Vision. He can wrestle. He said he's capable of coming out of retirement, and he's one of the best promo guys. We see little bits and pieces of him when he gets angry, but that guy can talk, and I think it would be fun to have him be revealed as the guy and do something there just to shake things up, because I'm really bored with what's going on right now. And if Seth Rollins comes back, is he facing Theory? That's boring to me. Theory shouldn't even be part of the group, let's face it. Bronson Reed, they could do Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. But yeah, I think like they need to really come up with something that's out of left field that gets people talking, because right now it just feels like it's hanging on by a thread, this storyline, and they need to shake it up big time, or just get rid of it, just end it. But I don't think they're going to do that. We do have some super chats. Mr. Anderson 165 sent in $2. He said, with Steiner math, Braun Breaker will be back in a month. Well, he is a genetic freak. He's the son of genetic freaks. So if anybody can come back quickly, it would be Braun Breaker. WrestleMania seems touch and go. There are reports out there he could be out 2 months. Other reports saying he could be out 6 months. Nobody really knows. Apparently, it was a serious hernia surgery that he had, but he is in his 20s, and he is in better shape than most people. So if anybody can come back quickly from it, it will be Braun Breaker. And as mentioned earlier, with the John Cena genetics, maybe he can come back and be around for WrestleMania. But in the meantime, WWE needs to come up with something that gets us invested. I'm just not invested at this point, and I'm not sure if they can salvage it. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, seriously, what's going on with the Vision and injuries? Great question. Things happen, and maybe it is the universe getting back at Seth Rollins for doing that fake injury. Who knows? It's funny, though, how he did the fake injury and then he gets hurt and then Braun Breaker gets hurt. Hopefully nobody else gets hurt. CM Punk will be doing that match with Finn Balor at Elimination Chamber, and Punk has done pretty well. He has not gotten hurt. If he gets hurt at Elimination Chamber, what a disaster that would be for WWE. I mean, Roman Reigns and CM Punk is what's carrying WrestleMania right now. If Punk, you will need a certain person to come in, a certain final.
Punk was made of glass in AEW, but so far so good in WWE. So fingers and toes crossed.
Against the Vision like a baby face. When are they going to call him the Vision impaired? Like, you know what I mean? Something like that to happen.
The Vision impaired.
That needs to be a shirt.
Get on it.
WDshop.com.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat. Virtue's done at 8 o'clock. Psycho says, my biggest fear for Braun Breaker is that he gets labeled as injury prone and doesn't get the push that people expect. Does Obafemi, Dominic Mysterio, and Jacob Fatu take his spot? Well, we'll have to hope that he doesn't keep getting hurt because
hurt. Who else did he just mention in that?
He mentioned Obafemi, Dominic, and Fatu.
Dominic's been hurt. I mean,
Dominic's hurt.
Fatu was hurt.
Yeah, Fatu, Dominic.
Yeah, people get hurt, but the key is, can they avoid getting hurt frequently so the company doesn't have to scramble and change plans? I mean, that was one of the things that hurt Mr. Kennedy in WWE, the fact that he kept getting injured and they couldn't really invest in him. Same thing with Samoa Joe in that late 2010s run. Samoa Joe was red hot, and then he got hurt. They were going to put him in there with John Cena. He got hurt, and after a while, they just couldn't invest in him. So fingers crossed that Braun Breaker will be able to stay healthy.
Didn't Kennedy? They took the case away from Kennedy because allegedly he was going to be out longer than what he was, right?
Correct. They thought he was going to be out for a long time, and he came back sooner than that.
Mr. Anderson is the JCW World Champion. He's doing okay.
Oh,
there you go. So
Former
another
TNA
plug
World
for JCW.
That's not a spoiler. That has aired.
There you go. Former TNA World Champion too. So it's just one of those things where it comes down to how you handle an injury versus how much it affects the company's booking.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $5 super chat.
Segue.
And I do not like this idea. Grayson Waller as a babyface sounds like a terrible idea. It should be Theory. Theory should have been a babyface coming back. I have no interest in Grayson Waller as a face or even a heel at this point. Like, I feel like he has passed his expiration date as a character. He needs some kind of change, although this would be a change, I suppose, if he was the one under the mask. But I feel like people would not really be into that. I don't know.
Yeah, even with their past history as a tag team champions, considering right now the Maskman has only assaulted member of the Vision. We just saw him attack Austin Fury. That viral effect would not have the viewership you would want for Netflix.
All right, we got one more here from Psycho Jet Black, and then we can get to the main event. He says, is Uthman's cousin a future world champion? Oof, your cousin?
Yeah, Flash Carter. Shout out to Flash Carter. Like I said last week on Raw, he was a security guard in that opening segment with Bron Breakker and his tag team partner Jay. So shout out to the shot callers. Yeah, nice. That was really cool to see. I'm gonna beat his butt a little bit next time I see him, because I told him next time you're in the area or you're on TV, let me know. We'll try to go see you. But a little insider stuff here. He always tells us, he doesn't tell us because he has been sent to local areas in Jersey and New York, but sometimes he's put on camera, sometimes he's not, so he doesn't want to get people's hopes up. So I'm guessing he was probably called again in Philly, didn't know probably till like last second that he was going to be on the air, and then sure enough there he was. Probably in the NoDQ chat and probably the Facebook group, I'll share the screenshot, or I'll probably send it to you real fast while the show goes on, Aaron, to show you who he is. But yeah, so again, shout out to Flash Carter and Jay, the shot callers. Future world champion, why not?
By the way, Robert in the Facebook comment section brought up Chris Jericho, which is something we did touch on a few weeks ago. Yeah, I'd be fine with that if Chris Jericho was the guy. Like, that would be a fun reveal. But yeah, they need to come up with something good, because right now I'm quickly losing interest in the Vision, and I feel like all the momentum that they had when Rollins turned at WrestleMania has pretty much been diminished significantly. So on that, we'll see if Oof's cousin becomes a big star and he's on Monday Night Raw, WrestleMania in 10 years. Time will tell. Gino, we'll throw it over to you now.
Yeah, it looks like Colin, the Cleaver Andrew would like to add to that before we go on.
Go ahead, Cleaver.
Speaking of security, Virtue, did you see Wes Barclay again last night on Raw?
No, I missed that part, but I figured with them being in Cleveland, there'd be a shot for someone.
That kid's been everywhere lately. I'm so happy for him. He's from AIW here in Cleveland.
Nice, absolute intense wrestling.
But again, like Uthman, I didn't get any notice that, hey, I'm going to be on Raw. So
they probably got to keep it.
I've just been noticing him.
Well, yeah, like I said, there's again, insider stuff. He says there's so many independent wrestlers at the shows, and if you get called, you get called. You don't. It's usually last second when they're actually told, okay, you're going on. And he said maybe a half hour before the show is when they're told, okay, you're in this segment. So, and I'm pretty sure they can't go on their phones and stuff and start being like, hey, everybody, check me out on Run stuff. So I understand, but I'm so proud of Flash.
One more super chat here from Dave Scheffler. Dave says Adam Pearce probably was serious not wanting CM Punk to wrestle at the Elimination Chamber because of all the injuries. It'd say don't ruin the WrestleMania main event. Yeah, that would have been too close to reality if he actually said that. It would have been funny, though.
Dead.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, because this legitimately is like they've only announced that match, I think. Did they announce any other matches? I don't think they have.
I think
the women's Intercontinental title. Yeah.
Yeah, AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. So both.
Well, for WrestleMania.
Oh, Mania. No, I think just Punk and
Roman and Punk.
But let's face it, that's the match, and nothing's even going to come close to that one. So if they lose that match, like I said, it'll be a complete disaster for the company. Mr. Anderson 165 sent in a $2 super chat, says, if more injuries happen, will Chris Jericho save WrestleMania? Well, they may need Jericho at this point to boost some interest in the WWE product, but keep in mind he is still on the AEW roster page, and we don't know what the deal is with his contract, if he's actually a free agent or not. I mean, I don't think Tony Khan would be working with him to set up a surprise WWE return. So I feel like he's still under contract, and he's doing the Fozzy shows, and
so he's got
I hope he does show back up, because I think they really could use a little shot in the arm for WrestleMania, because besides Roman and CM Punk, I'm not too hyped up for this WrestleMania card. I mean, we might get El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, big WrestleMania main event.
Intrigued, though, if it was Drew McIntyre defending against Cody and Fatu in a triple threat, if somehow that got Would you be intrigued by that a little bit, knowing Fatu's in a world title match, Roman's in a world title match, and you never know what could be the long story for that?
I say
Fatu should
I-
win. If they
I
do
say
a
throw
triple
Orton in
threat.
there. Throw Orton in there and make it a fatal 4-way.
Push him as a somebody sooner rather than later. We always talk about that. Have Roman recap, and then boom, you got two Samoans going for head of the table probably with here. Remember,
Good
you're
idea.
not Wayne, you still have a potential head of the table match that could mean something to pass the torch. Set it up.
I mean, they tried it with Jey Uso at that SummerSlam, but this one actually has, I think, a lot more value to it that they could push forward all the way maybe to next year's WrestleMania. So, again, not a bad shot. I still think right now we're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Cody versus Fatu at WrestleMania, because that's the only big three you have right now concerning the SmackDown title picture. And yes, Becky Lynch, AJ Lee is happening at the Chamber. Folks, it's not the first time they've done a rematch at WrestleMania from the previous PLE. Just saying.
Maybe they'll do a Hell in a Cell match with Drew, Cody, and Fatu, because they haven't done one since CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. But we'll see what happens. Gino,
what does Randy Orton now do for Mania?
Aleister Black.
They'll figure out something. There's 2 nights.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let's just, knock on some wood. Hopefully CM Punk doesn't get injured. I mean, like Virtue said, if CM Punk gets injured, I don't think Roman's stepping into a ring to wrestle until WrestleMania. So he'll be fine and healthy. Like, you'll have to call the final boss at that point. Like, that would be the only thing. So maybe there's some people that are hoping or praying, as Drew McIntyre would, that CM Punk gets hurt so that we can finally get that match that was passed over for the We Want Cody movement. Now, with that, we've gotten a few speculations on who might be under the mask, but coming out of the Royal Rumble, there were all these posts and things like basically inferring or implying that it was Logan Paul who was underneath the mask. And then we saw him chasing that masked man. That could obviously be doing different people under the mask until they figure it out. But we saw Logan Paul chasing him, and he also attacked Austin Theory. So the idea that he is potentially Seth working with Theory, or somebody working with Seth to work with Theory to break up the vision from within, it doesn't seem like they need anybody from the outside breaking up the vision from within, because they're doing it themselves with the injuries, unfortunately. But I genuinely don't know if they've got a plan, who could be under the mask. I've seen a bunch of names. I don't want to take anybody's thunder from you guys, but I genuinely do not know. So I really am genuinely asking you guys, who do you think it is right now? Or maybe who do you think it'll be eventually when they do decide to reveal that? So I'm going to throw it right over to the birthday boy, Noah Foster. Noah, who do you think it is currently right now, and who do you maybe see the long-term plan? Because it could be somebody different than who they end up using as the reveal.
I really hope it's just not stunt doubles for Seth freaking Rollins. The original plan was Seth versus Braun. That might become Seth versus freaking insert Vision member here, even though he already beat Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. I don't have one iota. The biggest buzzkill besides Grayson Waller would be one of the members, if not all the members of that group in NXT, Dark State. I'm hoping Montez Ford, maybe, because I know they tried to push him as a singles player, and maybe Paul Heyman's trying to do something completely different, has his own vision outside the three-man division, because again, if Paul Heyman's not with Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory, they are dead in the water. But it has to be somebody within the WWE roster, I would think, that has to be pushed somehow with some connection to either Seth freaking Rollins or Paul Heyman sees potential in becoming something that could be a thing. But outside what we talked about earlier with Grayson Waller or Dark State playing stunt double, or somebody being completely repackaged out of the blue as the next singles guy to be brought to WrestleMania to surprise you, I honestly don't have a clue. But if it's not Seth, then I really think this story should die where it is, because there's nobody else that fits the mold.
All right. Well, thank you, Noah. I mean, very clearly they want us to think it's Seth because he's doing Seth's finishing move. But then we had the same thing happen when Austin Theory was under the mask. It was the stomp, and they wanted us to think it was Seth, and then it wasn't. And if we're speculating that it's somebody top tier and then they deliver somebody not top tier, it kind of takes the wind out of the sails. Like, I'll remember the Austin Theory reveal for the rest of my life, and Wade Barrett, that's Austin Theory. But like, it didn't really hit then. It's not really hitting now. Obviously, he's got a great look, but like, they don't seem to be going anywhere with this other than just having bodies. And we don't want it to become NWO 2.0 or just throw more people in just cause. But thank you. I think Seth Rollins would be the logical, conclusion there. But is WWE really gonna like shove that in our face that it's him doing his move? We'll have to see, because we see that it turned out to be Theory and it wasn't Seth then. Is it Seth now? Do they want us to think it's somebody else? Who knows with these mind games? Thank you so much, Noah. I appreciate it. Ufin, I'm going to throw it over to you. Who do you think it is? And maybe who do you think WWE wants it to be?
I agree with 100% what Noah said. I just feel like the way this storyline is going, this masked man is creative's clutch, where they're like, all right, let's progress the story, but we really don't know what to do next. Or they're probably noticing, like we're talking today, this storyline is starting to drag. All right, we got to get a pop, a sizzle, OMG moment. All right, throw in the masked man, like press that lever, and here he comes running out. I don't even think Mr. Levesque, Mr. Pritchard, and Doot even know who it is under the mask. They're just waiting for, all right, when they decide to go, all right, let's just kill this thing, or all right, let's go for that Shiri. Now, who's these other new guys? They're just bodies until I think it is revealed to be Seth Rollins. But knowing this company, maybe we see the reveal that it's Seth Rollins, and then what happens 30 seconds later? Another masked guy comes out. I mean, at this point of the game, like my father used to say, it just seems like I said, that's their clutch, where let's get people talking. Oh, the masked man. And eventually it's got to run its course. I mean, there has to be, every storyline needs an end game. I mean, must we think back to the NWO back in the day? Like, all right, what is the point? What's the catch? When will this end? Exactly. Yeah. Woo, for life. But where was the end game? So this has to have an end game. Honestly, I hope it ends up being Seth Rollins. And like I said, it ends like, all right, no more masked men. But like I said, Papa H likes that clutch, like, oh, just send in the masked man, and here we go again. It's just a rotating thing where will it end hopefully at WrestleMania? I hope so, for all our sakes. But if this keeps going on, it's like, man, and again, our first topic, the Bron Breakker injury, probably put a dent on it, where again, you kind of feel bad for creative, but eventually they got to go, all right, we're going to end it now. Hopefully it's something talkative, something to get the world buzzing, get our interest more into it, and hopefully
Instead
soon
of me
enough.
just saying there, they could do it.
Yeah, they could do it. Will they is the question. So,
all right. Thank you, Ufman. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speculation for sure as to who it is. The chat's throwing out a bunch of different names. I've seen posts online throwing out a bunch of different names. I'm going to throw it over to Virtue now. Virtue, they're doing this masked man gimmick seemingly nonstop, all the way back to when they had R-Truth come out with the mask to attack Cena, and now we've got Austin Theory. Like who
it's their clutch, yeah.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, in case of emergency, break glass. Like, it's almost like we've talked about kind of how AI could be potentially writing the show. What would you suggest? Oh, masked man, figure it out later, right? Because, and we've addressed this before, TKO seems to be like stretching whatever creativity they do have super, super thin, and repeating things. They're even repeating similar spots on same nights of same shows. It seems odd. But Virtue, who do you think is underneath the mask, and maybe who, if it's different, with who do you think WWE is going to reveal to be underneath the mask?
El Virtuoso.
Finn Balor. No, it's going to be Seth. It's going to be Seth Rollins. So they're just having people play it while Seth's injured. Who knows who's been under it since Austin. Austin Theory was the first reveal, just to make people think, oh, it's nothing, and now let's bring a second one in. So, who's played him so far since Austin Theory's reveal doesn't really matter. I mean, the only payoff here is the return of Seth Rollins to get his revenge. Problem is, now Bron Breakker's hurt, and that's the main guy he needs to get his revenge on. So how is this all going to play out? It's just, again, the vision is cursed. But to me, it's got to be Seth Rollins. I mean, unless you got, pulled Dean Ambrose back, Moxley from AEW because of the Shield. Like, there's nobody. Ain't Chris Jericho. He ain't moving like that. If it's Chris Jericho, he hired younger players to come in and do it, and then he'll be the higher power. It's me all along. Like, but it's Seth Rollins. That's got to be the plan, right? Anything else would be a letdown unless it's somebody equally or bigger than Seth Rollins. And who would you pick? You know what I mean? It's all a huge guessing game. That probably with a minimal % chance of anybody like that. So that's why I defaulted. It's Seth Rollins. Other people are just playing it to buy the time.
Okay, so they're giving it basically at face value. They're doing Seth's moves. They want us to think it's Seth, but obviously he's still truly injured. So
exactly.
But
draw it out.
Seth returns. Could he have a new vision with some younger guys with him, and who knows who they would be that helped him set this up? And then we see Seth and a couple of guys that could have been the other mask guy. Who knows? But I feel like it's Seth Rollins. It's got to just be setting something up for him because it would be silly for anything else. He's the one that's going to have the heat with the vision. At first I thought maybe it was Logan Paul to try to take over the group for himself. But Seth, period.
Yeah.
End of story. Mood.
I do like that idea of Seth's got other guys he's going to make a new vision. Like I'm envisioning.
No idea who we'd have to
right.
The roster NXT pick who we think could be a good fit. But
Ricky Saints, the
Miles
Page,
or Evolve.
We're thinking, hey, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better than what they do, isn't it?
Accurate.
Yeah,
Actually, not sometimes Virtue, more often.
That does seem to happen. You had me thinking, what if, the masked man's in the ring and security's got him surrounded and all of a sudden 2 other masked men come out and it's like, what the heck is going on? And then you hear, burn it down. And then Seth actually comes out and then you get the reveal of all the guys.
Her guys over too, as babies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I hope we didn't take a lot of your potential thunder that you're ready to share with us, Cleaver, or should I say snow and ice. But go ahead. We look forward to hearing what you think. Same question that I was asking all the other guys. Right? Who do you think it is? Do you maybe think that WWE wants it to be somebody different?
Oh, God. Well, I remember when we first talked about this, the night after Survivor Series, I was pulling for Montez Ford. I'm still pulling for him, but apparently he's down in NXT just beefing it up. I would like to see, the Street Profits do something. They've been a great tag team, and every time they feel like they're there, something happens and they get pushed down. They tried to get that run with Bobby Lashley a long time ago, and they've definitely fallen off. It'd be cool if he's trying to put new people on the, in spots. I think a guy from NXT that'd be great would be Miles Bourne. That kid is something special down there. Dark State needs to never come up to the main roster. I think they're all trash. I think they are all just trash. They should go back. They should go back to Evolve or the what's the show when they had the trainers? It's like
LFG,
yeah,
Legends and Future Kids.
Yeah, those clowns need to go back there. Ricky Saints would be cool, but I kind of want to see Ricky Saints come up and do something with Cody. Either be a heel or Cody turns heel on him, one of the two. Jericho's always a fun guess, but it doesn't make sense because why would he need to be there with Rollins? He doesn't need to be aligned with Rollins. If he's going to align himself, he needs to align himself with someone with a lower stature to be the big man in the group. You know what I'm saying? Just like he had Big Bill and what was his name, Brian Keith or whatever, over in AEW with the Learning Tree and stuff like that. I don't know. The end game is Seth, but he just had all these injuries that made things get all screwed up. So they're like, hey, throw a black mask and a hoodie, and how many times have we seen that in the last year between R-Truth and then Theory? I don't want to see it be Grayson Waller because that kid. I'm not saying his talent is nothing, but he doesn't click with the audience. His character needs a complete over. It would have to be a complete 150% overhaul of his character. Again, it would make sense though because of him and Theory were a tag team, and then they just kind of went their separate ways and whatever.
Exactly.
But again, like Virtue has said, they're just filling time for Seth to come back, and it's going to be Seth, and they're going to play it out until Seth and Braun are probably both back healthy, and then we'll get the big reveal. Would it be cool to do a new Vision? Yeah. But whoever is under there, hopefully they get a better reaction than Theory. I don't want to say Theory's been lackluster, but Theory's been lackluster.
You're absolutely right. And I like what Aaron had mentioned at the beginning of the segment, right? Like, if it's not going to be a Seth Rollins, it's obviously not Jericho. Like, I do think there is potential, some mileage out of it being Adam Pearce, right? Like, that could be a fun thing. Like, he's the one who's feuding with the Vision right now. Like,
Right.
Nobody else is really feuding with them. We know he's a wrestler. I mean, like, I have more interest in him versus Aldis, like a GM versus GM thing, but maybe this is a way for Pierce to find that, passion for wrestling again, because he's said that he doesn't want to get in the ring again. But maybe that phone call, right, had him changing his mind. Who knows? I've seen things like it's Kofi, it's Finn, it's Ricky Saints, it's Tony D. Like
Tony D.
All of these things. I mean, like, you want it. You can't have a second underwhelming reveal of the same gimmick. Like,
Well,
you
did have to notice,
Dude, if
gloves this week.
If
They
it's
had
not,
gloves this week, so
Yeah,
if
man,
it's not Seth, you need to have somebody that when they see the face, it's going to make the internet go batshit crazy. And now you're going into the realm of it doesn't make logical sense, but you're starting to think of guys like Dominic Mysterio, something that would break the internet. Like, oh my God! So that's why it's going to be Seth.
Also, a question is, what if let's say it is Seth, would it get the pop reaction that we think it's going to get, or are people going to be like, well, duh?
It's Seth.
That's my thing. Like,
It's
they're
Seth.
going to Willis fame. It's Seth.
they would?
Period.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing as, like, are they really going to make AJ lose this early into the year? Blah blah blah. Sometimes the writing's on the wall. It is as it seems, and they want us to believe it's Seth. So we'll see what happens. Now, Aaron, I'm going to throw it over to you. I know you mentioned a bunch and you got the super chats, but is there anybody else that hasn't been mentioned that's on the tip of your tongue that you think it has an outside shot of being?
Well, Virtue said it best. It has to be somebody that will get the pop. I agree with that 100%. The obvious choice is Seth Rollins, maybe Adam Pearce, maybe Chris Jericho, and then you have your wild cards. But if it's an NXT guy, they're not going to get that pop. Let me get to a super chat here from Psycho Jet Black. He says, what if the masked man is Ricky Saints? Ricky Saints would get an okay pop depending on what city WWE's in, but the viewers at home would be like, who the hell is this guy? I don't think Ricky Saints would be a good choice. It has to be a significant name. Like Virtue said, somebody that will break the internet and get the holy crap moment from everybody. Ricky Saints ain't going to be that guy. So I really don't think it's going to be him. I do think Chris Jericho would make sense because Jericho likes to come back and make a big splash. And if you come out as the guy and you take off the mask and you're going after the biggest dogs in the yard, like, that's making a big splash. That's something Chris Jericho's character would do to make himself the center of attention, be the attacker. Noah?
There's only one other name I can think of, and I'm only thinking about this because he didn't drop the gloves and don't know what is next. What if somehow, some way, there's a loophole and it's AJ Styles?
Was he the Rumble guy?
Crossed my mind.
I mean, again, he has history. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. If it's not Seth, what's plan B, basically, is what WWE's got to figure out. And you got to make sure it's somebody of noteworthy value or namesake value or someone you don't think about. AJ retired, doesn't work for the company anymore. Who's to say Paul Heyman doesn't have him on his own freaking loophole?
I mean, this ain't going to happen, but what if he takes off a mask and it's another masked guy? Like Psycho Jet Black sent it a $2 super chat, says, what if the masked men become like El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
Just OG masked man, new masked man,
New masked man, third
Ryo
masked
masked man.
I'm just saying, at WWE, you're going to throw Blip to the wall. That might be your last resort. Pay him enough money and see if he's willing to do that. We've seen how many people before go against their integrity for money. But at this point, if it's not Seth, this whole thing's a dud.
Well, there's a physical presence that this masked man has, and Psycho Jet Black's next super chat here. I mean, I think it's pretty clear this guy ain't super jacked, so we know it's not Ryback.
That's -1 chance.
He's
Yeah.
been really, really skinny, and then he's been short. Nothing matches Ryback's status.
No.
No.
Mm.
All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Virtue is out of here at 8 o'clock. Worst case scenario, the masked man is the Miz for shock value.
No.
I mean, that's just about the worst idea possible, is to have the Miz as the masked man.
Yeah, accurate.
No, thank
I
you.
mean, there maybe maybe the Miz would fit the body profile of that guy, but beyond that, I don't think it would make too much sense.
Yeah, he doesn't need that. And like, you want it to, theoretically, since this is television, you want it to have some type of connection. You want it to make sense.
Exactly.
Like, again, an AJ Styles going after the Vision, like, he would still have a bone to pick with Gunther or something. Like, you would want it to make logical sense. Now, this is the WWE after
I'll
all.
say, you realize what you're talking about, right?
But still,
Yeah,
I hold
WWE's
them to the
logic is
standard
just-
of logic and storytelling, because that's what I'm watching a television show. If they want me to not watch just the YouTube highlights, they want me to watch the show, you gotta make it flow. And to their credit, they have had multiple segments on a show where they feature the same talent, and like with Drew McIntyre and SmackDown, like, that's how you string a show together. He's trying to get it, like, so they are capable of doing things like that, but it just, it's few and far between. Yes, Aaron.
All right, we got one more super chat here, and then we can do our plugs, and Virtue can get to his video games.
Right.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, second worst case scenario, it's Baron Corbin.
Guy's too short.
I
Yeah,
think
that
the
guy's
too
way
short.
too short to be Baron
So
I would love it to be
He
Baron
was,
Corbin,
yeah.
but he's way too short.
So real quick, Gino, you were saying connection. What if they're trying to do something with Gargano since Ciampa's gone? We have that connection between Austin Theory and Gargano from way back in NXT. I know it's a strong stretch, but Gargano's one of those workers that can learn people's moves, and he's been around a long time, and he can figure out. He's got a good super kick.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
But
just
again,
throwing that out there for
just
when you
throwing-
said
that-
connection.
yeah.
We're just throwing
That
names
at
this
least has a
point,
story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do want to
That's
say,
history.
like, clinically depressed Gargano is entertaining to me. So
I do
I
agree about that.
really want to see where that's going. So
I don't know. You were bringing up connection. I'm like, wait a minute. Theory and him had a deal together a while ago with Indy and Candice, and I don't remember what it was called, but
The way.
the way,
Way.
that's right. So
You know who, like, obviously the body type is not working in the injury, but Kevin Owens would have been a hell of a
Yeah.
return. But
Injuries,
Yeah.
man.
we're pretty much out of names at this point.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. At this
pretty
point, you're just
much.
trying to find a name that will get the pop. Because one, it's about the pop more than anything else. Two, how do you make it connect with the storyline or those involved with the storyline to create maybe a subplot out of it?
Anybody say Sami Zayn?
No.
I think the guy's also too short. Sammy's way taller than he looks on television. It's crazy.
Well, he's
I
like
think Sammy's like 6'1".
Yeah, about to say. And he was just involved, of course, or he's going to be involved in an Elimination Chamber qualifier. And so far, we haven't had an internal investigation yet.
And with that, we are out of super chats, and we are out. We legitimately might be out of actual names to be guessing. So one of us has to be right. Bookmark this video, everybody. We're gonna go around and do our plugs. Yes, Aaron.
The cool thing would be if it's somebody none of us said and it gets the
Agree.
big pop. If they can come up with that, brilliant.
I'll give
Well,
W
really.
credit.
We're going to be looking at free agent wrestlers and everybody on the NXT, SmackDown, and Raw pages to try to pinpoint.
Right.
You
He's
Sure.
injured right now.
You're right.
Buddy, none of us said or nobody said in the chat tonight, and we were all excited or popped for it. That would be wild.
I hope that happens.
My hat would be, my mask would be off to them, as it were, if they
I'll
could
give
do
W
that.
credit for doing something creatively unpredictable that surprises even me.
Oh, wait. Jeremy Dorset sent in a $2 super chat. Says Aleister Black, long shot, highly unlikely.
The latter
Yeah.
part of
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, too tall.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and just doesn't seem like it would be something his character would do. I don't know.
No, he has a high kick, spinning back heel kick. He doesn't do a curb stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Let's do
he's
the
a
plug.
heel, so I feel like you would want it to be somebody you want to cheer for. So yeah, we'll go around and we'll do our plugs. We'll start off with the Cleaver. Colin, pleasure to have you here. I was pleasantly surprised when you were like, "Oh, I'm available," because usually you don't even reach out because I'm sure you're busy and stuff because life happens. But when I saw that, I was like, no doubt about it. Made the group immediately. Like, let's go. Sign me up. Where can people find you?
You can find me on X and YouTube at the Cleaver NoDQ. Check out the Big Beto brand, nodq.com/merch. Any dads out there want a cool swag shirt, you can pick up the shirt. It says "We the Dads" because we the dads. So I'll be back in 2 weeks. I want to say is mod, and we'll have some fun heading into Elimination Chamber. So thanks for having me. It's been fun, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to have you as always here. And now we'll throw it over to Oofman. Oofman, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate your insight. Where can the people find you?
Again, thank you so much, guys, for having me on. You can check me out on my series, Gabbing with Oof. I've been off a while because I've had this cough that doesn't want to leave me, and also new equipment. So next new video that is definitely going to come up. We're going to gab about Super Sentai, the original footage of Power Rangers. They're actually, for the first time in 50 years, they're going on a hiatus. What does that mean for America? What does that mean for the future of Power Rangers? So that's a new one coming up through. So yeah, check me out right there. Gabbing with you for my series. I got a bunch of videos on there. Mr. Gino joined me in a couple. I got some movie reviews, some book reviews as well. So again, it was awesome being here. Thank you so much for having me again, gentlemen. And always fun talking Lucha Libre with you guys.
Thank you so much, Oofman. The birthday boy, Noah, the Simple Man Foster, doing hard work on the NoDQ Predictions League.
Yes.
Where can the people find you?
Always a pleasure, my friends. If you want to engage with me or be part of Predictions Leagues, find me on YouTube on the X at nfoster1916. Of course, the TNA League continues this week. They'll be City predicting for TNA No Surrender Thursday after Impact. And then we'll cover it, of course, Friday. And then, of course, the end of the month, we got the Elimination Chamber. So stay tuned for City predicting on that coverage. And, of course, with me and Gino, predictions post-mortem, as we always do. We're also, of course, covering GCW now of the month. And if you haven't already, check out our recent review with the Princess of Perfection, Rachel Lay. It was a fun 90-minute conversation with her last weekend on the Saturday Shenanigans. And we're continuing now to interview bright, young, up-and-coming talent ahead of WrestleMania weekend for an all-women's wrestling showcase called Porter Media, including Izzy Moreno. Y'all might remember her as the little girl Super Bailey fan, of course, everyone's favorite BFF. So stay tuned for more on that and all sorts of other things related to professional wrestling and this business. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! Reminding you to gesture live into professional wrestling too. It's as simple as that. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. And if I'm able to, I'll see y'all next week once again on the NoDQ Review. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And it's still early enough in the year where if you didn't get to do predictions for Royal Rumble, you could still have a chance to compete. Just get in touch with Noah. Thank you so much, Noah. Happy freaking birthday to Noah. And we'll throw it over to ORM. He stuck with us for a few minutes longer than he promised. We love that. Where can the people find you?
Well, first of all, I want to right there, x.com at NoDQ_virtue. Because Colin reminded me when he talked about Vito, who used to be on this show, and maybe one day we'll get him back. He's been the MVP of JCW Lunacy. He's all over that show, a lot of backstage skits, wrestling. He's over 60 years old, looks like he's 40. Just kudos to Big Vito. It's good to see him back, even though it's a YouTube show. It's all right. Insane Clown Posse. He's very entertaining, right? He's playing the mafia mob type guy, but he really didn't do that too much. He did, but not at the level of like Godfather type stuff. And so it's good to actually see him be able to be that. So kudos to Big Vito LaGrasso.
And yep, thank you so much for the shout out to him, Big Vito. We love him here. Always a pleasure. And Aaron, you know, we love all the content that you provide to us, whether it's by the hour, by the minute, NoDQ.com, the Instagrams, the X's, all that stuff you're posting. Where else can the people find you?
Well, before we get to that, we do have super chat, so Virtue might be bouncing here. Tito, Mr. Tito says if he can be forgiven and reborn, Chris Benoit as the
as the mascot. Yeah.
We're just
Well,
glossing over a
could
lot of
probably make that
scientific
happen.
breakthroughs, but you know,
Scientific and godly as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something AI would put together, like Chat GPT or Grok.
Super Christian, and that's a hard one. That's very difficult because of what happened.
Yeah, a little
100%.
hard.
All right.
next.
Psycho Jet Black says, "What if the masked man is Riff
Don't say it.
Aaron's?"
say it.
He should not be named.
Stop asking about Austin Theory. The only person over is you, Psycho Jet Black.
Good grief. And
Oh,
from a
he's right.
bygone era of AI, that just happened.
That did happen, right? Wait, that did happen.
I'm pretty sure that did happen.
He just
Okay.
summoned us, or he who should not be named.
Yeah, don't say the name.
That's the real masked man.
Right. What if it's
Right.
Shane McMahon? Says Psycho Jet Black.
Here comes the
He
money.
would have tore his leg. He would have
Yeah.
tore
Yeah,
his
he would
quad
have.
or
He would
whatever
have
doing
tore
that
his
stuff.
quad.
He would have
He
destroyed
absolutely would've tore
his
his
quad on that
quad.
stomp.
No, he would have tore his quad trying to jump over the barricade.
Yeah.
Facts.
Poor
Or
shit.
climbing the cage, yeah.
All kidding aside, it would get a big pop. I just don't see how it benefits him.
Yeah.
The pop was his quad going. That was the only pop.
That was the pop we heard, yeah.
Damn.
Mr.
Cold-blooded.
Tito says, "What if it's Mr. Iguana?"
It would get a little pop because since the WWE audience is a little bit more familiar with him, but he doesn't have it would be hilarious if he had an iguana with the mask on the iguana. Like that would be something
That would be
you
funny,
can-
yes.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
They
Sell
could
the
have
merch.
Danhausen be the masked man.
Putting a curse
Just
on
saying.
the vision.
At this point,
think
guess
they're already-
anything's possible.
Oh, here's one. If he's completely clean, what about Velveteen Dream?
No.
The little mouth hole in the mask makes me think that it's probably not guys like Velveteen Dream or Kofi Kingston, things like that. So you're probably you would have to take some stretching of the imagination for that.
Yeah. Well, what about Enzo Amore?
I would love it if it was Enzo.
I mean, the masked man might actually be a bit taller than Enzo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
Enzo's
the only thing
short.
was the height.
I met him and he came
Yeah.
up to like here
You know
to
what
me,
I-
so he's kind of short.
So if Adam Pearce went back to wrestling and Raw needed a general manager, I'd love to see Enzo come back wearing a tie. That would be entertaining.
There you go. Adam Pearce is the
Certified
masked
G.
man, and then Enzo fills in as
run
the general
show.
manager.
I
I love
make
it.
Okay.
Act, and I am here to run the show. And
What
then
about Daniel Bryan? Maybe.
Eh,
What his contract's
Isn't
up.
he doing?
Still
isn't
too
he doing
short.
commentary?
he's right now recovering his neck.
Well,
Yeah.
he's cooled it off because of the travel does a lot
Still
of damage to
with
him
AEW?
apparently.
Huh?
I see is he still
What was
under
that?
contract with AEW, Brian?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He's been doing commentary with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't like
because
to
he's retired
travel.
full time from wrestling. He's been that for Wrestle Dream 2024.
Absolutely. Just trying to
Right.
get more names out there so one of us can be right.
All right, somebody
Yeah,
needs
right.
to do the big
Yeah.
G.
All right,
Someone's
let's get this
someone's
ball
gonna
rolling.
hit it.
All right. Mr. Tito says, "What if it's the Black Scorpion?"
Ooh,
Anybody remember that from WCW?
I was a WWF kid.
Oh,
Nope.
wasn't that Ric Flair?
I
Yeah, so-
remember
right?
it from Pro Wrestling Illustrated or one of those non-WWE magazines. That's what I remember all that stuff from. I never watched it.
Fair enough.
All right.
All
Next.
right, we'll move on to the next one. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "What if it's Vince McMahon? It was me, Austin Theory." It
Well,
was-
does Vince know how to not walk like Conor McGregor?
Remember that
Because
stunner that he took?
oh, so bad.
About that, Conor McGregor took his walk though, but I do.
Yeah,
get what you
that's
mean,
fair.
though.
You know, they could have the masked man come in, do a bunch of crazy moves, and then they could do like a quick cut, and then Vince pulls off the mask, you know, via special effects, so it looked like Vince did all those moves.
Yeah,
They got
If he was
this
still
going.
in charge,
They
I
could do
wouldn't
it.
put it past him.
that about to say.
Yeah.
All right, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, "What if it was Alberto Del Rio?"
No,
Boo.
I don't know that it would get a pop.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe a boo pop. when
Maybe
you wanna
if it
cheer.
was in AAA, maybe if they did the reveal in AAA, it would get a big pop.
Or in Mexico, yeah.
Yeah,
it depends
AAA.
really.
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "Spoiler: the Masked Man is not Alex Riley or EC3."
I would
Accurate.
agree with that.
And we
Nothing
thank
wrong
God
with
for
that.
that.
Mhm.
Good night.
All right.
Absolutely.
On
I
that note,
believe
we're
that's
caught
it.
up. So yeah,
Okay.
NoDQ.com will keep you updated, and maybe we'll have some more clues as to who the Masked Man is in the coming weeks, and we can spend another 45 minutes talking about it. But that's all I got. So Gino, go ahead with your final plug and sign us off.
Love it. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys want to find me, go to YouTube, type in that search bar, Papagino0017. We got a lot of good content out there for you, doing predictions, breakdown with Noah, doing my own stuff, live streaming some games. Come check me out. It would mean the world to me. But thank you so much for everybody for watching, whether live or on demand. Don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend, all the wrestling community that you know, from Virtue, from Oofman, from Noah, from Cleaver, and especially Aaron. Say yes to NoDQ. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a
Buenas
good night,
noches.
folks.
Buenas noches, everyone.
Peace.
Happy birthday.
Not copyright.
Two.